Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the wokest magic show on the internet. This is Casually Spike, and I am your host, Dakota Marker, and with me are my friends, Jaron Denham.
I dropped my pen.
Devin Harrison.
Okay.
You're supposed to ask if he deleted it.
No.
And Bill Gantz.
I'm too tired.
So, tonight on Casually Spike, we've got quite a few things for you. With our Ether Revolt set review out of the way, we are going back to the regular show format. So we've got a few different discussion points tonight.
Oh, way to go, Bill. I didn't know anybody played Pokemon Go still. Who am I kidding? I still do.
So tonight's rundown, we're talking
Sorry.
about the newest campaign by Wizards to get us to play Standard, which is the, I don't even know what to call this promotion. It's not a Standard Showdown. It's just like it's some kind of Standard promotion. We'll get into it. We also have the F&M promos from now until all the way through June, strangely enough.
Yes.
And of course, we're going to be talking about the bannings as promised in Standard and Modern. And finally, we're going to round out the show with a deck tech on the 4-color Saheeli Copycat. So,
Woo.
who would like to begin on our first topic?
I mean, I could give it a go. With the new Standard Showdown thing coming out, it seems like a fairly simple, straightforward program. Basically, the stores just have to run 15 Standard events between, I think it was between February 13th and April 16th.
Mm-hmm.
They have to run 15 Standard events, and depending on the level of the store, you either get 10 or 20 individual promos.
I think there's also a third tier because there's basic.
Oh yeah,
and
there's Advanced Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 10, 20, or 30. All right. And the really cool thing is, if you do participate in this, you will get 5 posters for Amonkhet for your store. That's kind of sweet.
Woo.
But it appears that with the example that was at the top of the page that we have in the show notes, they're saying that they're going to be non-foil versions of the arts for at least the Tango lands from Battle for Zendikar.
Well, the thing is, they're not exactly
Right.
masterpieces. What they are is that they are regular frame tangos, but they have the art from the masterpieces in the
Yes.
regular text box.
Yes.
Which is kind of strange because that's not how that art was designed to be used. It feels like they kind of patched this together from whole cloth.
They probably did. But the other thing that's also included is there will be 3 exclusive playmats with art from Amonkhet for this as well.
But see, the only thing that bugs me about this promotion is like they give you they don't really give you many guidelines to go by this, because at least Standard Showdown, like all you had was the packs.
Yeah.
So like that was obvious. But you got the promos, and then you've also got these packs, or you got these playmats.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how are you supposed to give the playmats out? Like, are you supposed to give them to like the top player to give in tournament, or at the end like you're running some kind of league thing?
That's what I would do. I would run an actual league.
And I mean that seems okay.
Yeah.
Although I thought aren't leagues supposed to be sealed or something?
No.
Oh well.
Yeah, you could do a league however you want.
Well, I mean I was talking about like the Wizards official leagues.
Oh.
Oh, no. No, the only thing they have for leagues is what they're advertising. Oh, there's something special going on for Aether Revolt League.
It's
As
another
well.
kind of token. I want to say
Yeah.
it's like I forget what it is. It's not like a Thopter. It's something else.
Is it a monkey?
No,
Oh.
it's not that either.
Which is something that we can do. I only have to do like 4 weeks in a row. That's it.
And I mean, like the thing is that the time period that Jerem was talking about, that's 9 weeks. About running 15 events in 9 weeks isn't that big of a stretch. When you basically consider that a lot of stores had their regular like whatever night Standard event, ours is Tuesdays, and then usually a lot of them would slot it in just on an empty day. Like ours we did Saturdays because Saturdays are just most of the time we just allocate standard or Saturdays for like GPTs and stuff.
Well, you actually had to run the standard showdowns on Saturdays.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes.
Huh.
Yep. They will require Saturdays. These are not. These are just whenever.
So,
Yeah, these are just whenever you feel like playing standard.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you've got a store that loves standard, you could literally do your weekly standard event and then just have standard at FNM for 6 weeks, and boom, you're done.
And the other thing that I kind of danced around, if the store schedules for a pre-release, they will have specific promos from this program for the standard players.
That's interesting. I'm hoping, I don't know. Until we know what the promos are, I don't know how to feel about this, because they could be anything at this point.
They could be boats.
They could be consulate dreadnoughts. They could be basic lands.
But you know what's sad about these events, though? I'm not saying like the events are sad, but like how many stores will run fake events just to get this stuff?
Yeah.
And how that throws off their numbers so much.
Uh-huh.
Well, but I mean, like,
Which they can't like look at the numbers and actually like do what they want because they're getting false numbers. They'd be like, oh, well, all these stores did these events, must be popular, when it might not be.
Yeah.
well, the problem is, like, there's no real way to track that.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, like, for example, the U.S. Census data, they go around to certain houses and actually, like, count the people living in a household.
Yeah.
So, like, you can tell, like, that's how many people they have. But Wizards is a company of, like, what, 500 at most? I feel like I might be a little...
I think you might be highballing.
Yeah, like, I feel like that
count,
number's
like,
a little generous.
Stores?
No, not stores. I'm talking about Wizards
Actual
themselves.
WotC.
Oh, the employees?
Yeah, like, probably not numbered
Yeah, I'm not
higher
sure.
than 500. Like, even if they hired a contingent of people that just, like, did, like, secret shopping at stores to, like, actually see how events were firing, there's no way they could cover every... Because
Yeah.
I assume this is... I don't know, is this a U.S.-only promotion, or is this global?
I think it's global.
If this is global, there's no way in the world they would be able to hire these people to secret shop for them.
That's the whole point of judges.
Yeah.
To make sure stores are doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah, except nobody wants to be a judge anymore
I know.
because, like, there's such a bunch of, like, legal fiascos with the judge program right now that never got worked out.
Yeah.
I'm still willing to do it.
I mean, like, it's interesting, but I feel like because Wizards won't, like, give these judges 1099s and just pay them, it's causing GP rates to go up because judges need money.
Yeah.
Like, let's not dance around the issue here. They need... If you're going to ask somebody to use 3 days of their own time to stand in a room with 2,700 people for 12 hours, you need to compensate them with actual currency.
Sometimes longer than 3 days.
Yeah.
You got
Sometimes,
setup day.
depending on how long it is. And the thing is, Wizards only paid with promos, which, yes, you could sell for a lot of money, but that's just more back-end work.
Yeah.
So, because they're not doing that anymore, because all the promos are done through the Judge Exemplar program, which is a load of baloney, now the TOs have to pay judges, which is in turn causing GP rates to go up.
Yeah.
Yep. GP Vegas is the first $100 one.
And you don't even get Modern Masters for the limited event. That is sad.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but as for the standard stuff, I am extremely concerned with how hard they're having to push standard.
Yeah.
And I feel like we'll probably go into this at length in a later episode. But it's a sign that Magic is changing, and I don't know if it's a sign that it's changing for the better.
I mean, I don't know. From playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I can see like their standpoint.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
But
that's what scares me, is because Yu-Gi-Oh is such loose power creep
yeah.
that
But also
they don't ban stuff in standard because it's too powerful. They ban stuff to shake up the metagame.
Yeah.
And their ban list also reads like a small novel.
Yeah.
Man, I still remember when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time in like 4 years, and I saw that Raigeki was at 1 and Magician of Faith was unbanned. I was like, oh my god, that card's at 3? Why is nobody playing this? And then I realized how bloody fast the format was.
Yeah.
God, I'm glad I don't play that anymore.
But yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, they're push standard hard, but I also see why, because they make all their money off of standard.
Yeah. And
But because like, if they push like modern Pro Tours and all that like they used to, they wouldn't make any money besides like off of like some random ads they have in their streams and stuff like that, because they don't make money off the secondary market.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, so, and I mean, I feel like the choice of promos for this event, the non-masterpiece
Yeah.
tangos,
Well,
it's kind of a weird choice. It's fine though.
it said that it was standard legal lands. It didn't say that it was specifically these.
Are you sure? Because
Yes.
all we saw were pictures of them.
We only saw those 5 tango lands, but it was.
I could
standard
probably
legal
find the
lands.
actual article from Wizards.
Probably.
Just gotta go through the page.
I mean, like, what other lands have they done? What other lands are legal that they would do? Because it's like, the thing is, I'm
You could
fine
do
with the
speed
tangos
lands.
because they at least have some eternal appeal.
You can do speed lands, check lands, man lands,
What check lands are legal in standard?
game trail, whatnot.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, at least if it's the tangos, like those have an appeal because those have eternal appeal because you can
Yeah.
fetch for them. But like, I would not want to get a promo check land or like.
No.
I mean, even a promo speed land would probably not feel that good.
Well, I like the idea of a speed land because
I mean, it's right at the borderline of acceptable, but like that's a very close shave at that point.
well, it really depends on what deck you're playing, and the decks that run speed lands are like Jund.
Like John didn't
Yeah.
doesn't Jeskai Control run Spire Bluff Canals?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean they're fine. They could have done a lot worse. Speaking of promos, they could have done a lot worse. Let's talk
Alright.
about.
Hold on.
So the promos, it says special land promo cards, 10, 20, 30 for your level. It says you'll issue. This is how to give them out. It says you'll issue these to any player that joins 6 standard events at your store during that window. This is the actual article directed towards the stores. Underneath the picture, they showed the tangos. It says 2, 4, 6 based on level, core, advanced, and plus. Copies each of Prairie Stream, Sunken Hollow, Smoldering Marsh,
So,
I
Cinderglade,
stand corrected.
and Canopy Vista, using normal frame but Masterpiece series art. Cards depicted are for illustrated purpose only. Actual cards may vary.
So yeah,
I stand corrected.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
okay, yeah. So yeah, for core level stores, you only get 2 of each, and then 4 of each for advanced,
And
and 6 of each for
advanced
plus.
They
And-
might actually be worth something though, unlike the regular ones,
Yeah,
because of them being a promo and they're kind of a limited print run.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'll hold their value for sure, and I know a lot of people are probably gonna want play sets of them for reasons.
So
I feel like they could have gotten away with at least letting them be in foil though.
we don't need much for advanced plus.
No. Just need one event of 50 or more, right?
Hopefully we can get it.
Yeah.
I think I need maybe 10 or 15 more new people.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Well, I mean
I was just gonna ask, going back to what we were talking about before we move on. Are you doing a league?
I want to. I just gotta get everything set up.
I want to do a league real bad.
I do
I-
too.
as do I. But yeah, those are fine. They'll be interesting. Now, speaking of promos that are awesome, let's talk about F&M. Because, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how bad the F&M promos were and how not exciting anything was. And then Wizards is like, well, you know what?
Yo, dog.
Fine.
You
Have
want
all the good stuff.
$2.50 uncommons as promos?
Some of it.
Wish granted. So we got the next, because we knew up to March, because right now, January, we got Noose Constrictor.
Yep.
And then next week, when it's February, we'll get to play with Fortune's Favor, the worst Factor Fiction variant. And then in March, we will get Incendiary Flow, which is a better Volcanic Hammer. We
It's a buff volcanic hammer.
the consensus is out. It is in fact a buffed volcanic hammer.
It's also a nerfed incinerate.
No, we ruled that it was.
I rolled that it was a buff volcanic hammer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We debated, and the verdict is out. It is not a nerfed incinerate. It is a buffed volcanic hammer. But anyway, but now we have April, May, and June's promos. So, starting in April, you will receive, for placing first or second or as a door prize at F&M, a copy of Servo Expedition.
Woo!
Now, Servo Expedition, for those who don't remember, it's 1 and a white for a sorcery. You make 2 servos. Nothing fancy, nothing. But the thing is, like, it's no Raise the Alarm, because Raise the Alarm was an instant. But if Improvise takes off in Standard, Servo Expedition might start seeing some play. Because right now it does see some fringy play. Like, there were certain decks we saw at the Open last week that were like, play lots of servos to combine with Inspired Statuary to cast Ulamog. With like Ceram's Expedition and stuff. So, I feel like this is a fine pick. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing terrible. Now, the next card is one I'm personally excited about. And that, for May, is Unlicensed Disintegration. Now, Unlicensed Disintegration is 1 black-red for an instant. Destroy target creature. If you control an artifact, its controller takes 3 damage.
Yep.
And oh my god, do I love this art. Like, for real. Like, I want to play set of this the week it comes out.
You can have mine.
Okay, I will take them. And you know, Unlicensed Disintegration, Black Red Zombies played it. Some versions of Jund played it, like Jund Delirium and stuff. Like, solid removal spell, definitely good. And then finally,
But this card is played way more.
See the artwork for it?
for June, our promo for June's FNMs is none other than Ether Hub. Now, just in case you don't know, Ether Hub's a land. When it comes in, you get an energy, and you can tap it for a colorless, or you can tap and pay an energy to make one of any color. Holy crap, baskets. Keeping in mind that Ether Hub is currently the value uncommon of Kaladesh, sitting at roughly 250. It's got sweet new art that like reminds me a lot of City of Brass from like Modern Masters and stuff. Like, they absolutely knocked it out of the park. The only thing I think they could have done better with the selection of these 3, because these are the 3 we're getting for Kaladesh, and the next time we see one, it'll be Ether Revolt's turn.
Yeah.
The only way I think they could have improved it is that instead of giving us Servo Expedition, they gave us, if they'd have given us Filigree Familiar.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I feel like that card has a lot of like casual appeal.
Yeah. And it's also kind of cute, so it definitely goes with the casual feel.
And to me, because of like how linked it is to Solemn Simulacrum, like they could have done something with that.
Sad pupper.
But yeah, so I mean, like as far as it goes, all 3 of the promos are really good. Like, it's clear Wizards is listening, and Wizards, if you are listening, Fatal Push, Fatal Push, Fatal Push, Fatal Push, Fatal Push.
I mean, we got Dismember.
Fatal Push.
We can only assume that we were getting Fatal Push.
We can't assume anything after what happened in Eldritch Moon.
Sure.
It's not nice to assume.
Now, I'm
I
not
wouldn't-
sure.
I wouldn't also mind an F&M vote. I'm just saying.
I'm not sure if I can actually say this, but I have said, like, small cuss words on here. But Devin, we're already a bunch of asses. So we can assume all we want.
Anyway, so hip hip hooray! Go.
We did it.
Your FNMs in June will be fully stocked with people because everybody's going to want these Ether Hubs.
Yep.
Like,
Almost as bad as the Serum Visions.
exactly. It's gonna like. It's weird because I feel like I'm surprised that they're not doing a promo for Modern Masters around the time that it comes out. Like, they could have just taken a couple months off.
Yeah.
But even so, like, for real, a lot of people are going to get drug out for that. For the Unlicensed Disintegration, I feel it's going to pull more people than you might expect because it's a it's a playable card in a lot of formats, and
Yeah.
the art is really cool. And then the Ether Hub, you're just gonna see like everybody, because that card's almost modern playable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's some good news. Now on to some bad news.
Stop dying, Devin.
I'm trying.
We've got a couple weeks ago. What was it, like 2 weeks ago? 3? So
January
right
9th. It's the announcement day.
we had, for the first time in about 5 years, standard legal bannings,
The day before my birthday.
where we lost our good friend Smuggler's Copter, the Looter Scooter.
See, what's really funny is,
We didn't think he was going to get banned,
yeah, because there was enough removal for it.
including an Ether Revolt.
Yeah.
They printed the most busted removal of all time in black that would deal with it perfectly, and they're like, nope, it's banned.
Hey, you can't just push down a copter. Okay, maybe you can.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to trigger Revolt for it.
No.
But we lost Smuggler's Copter, we lost Big Mama Emrakul, and we lost our pal Samuel L. Jackson, aka Reflector Mage.
Okay.
What does the L mean? In Samuel L. Jackson.
Not gonna go there. But anyway, so we lost the man with the mirrors, and Wizards claims that the reason because they started by banning Copter and Emrakul, and that's because they were just too ubiquitous. Like, if you were a control deck, you had no reason not to play Emrakul as your finisher, and if you were any other kind of deck, you had no reason to play Copter as a not 4 of.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Because my white-black control deck, I didn't play Emrakul.
Okay, but that's because you had all the Planeswalkers. as
Yeah.
finisher. But the thing is, your deck also wasn't Tier 1.
That's right. Yeah.
So, because at the time, the Tier 1 decks were Green-Black Delirium and Blue-White Flash. Now, it would have been fine enough for them to just get rid of Copter and Emrakul.
Yeah.
But, because those were removed, they did some testing and then realized that Blue-White Flash would immediately rule the format.
Right.
So, in order to nerf Blue-White Flash so that it didn't completely destroy the format after they destroy the format, they banned Reflector Mage as kind of a side option. Now, a lot of people are asking why Reflector Mage and why not Spell Queller. And I feel like the answer on that's really obvious if you think about it.
Mhm.
Because Reflector Mage gets so much more value out of certain cards. Like, obviously Panharmonicon, that was my fault.
So,
Everybody has one now.
Panharmonicon.
Like, Panharmonicon, obviously, and Reflector Mage were best buddies forever.
Yep.
And thing is, too, Spell Queller is limited in what it can stop, but Reflector Mage dealt with what Spell Queller couldn't.
Yeah.
Because Spell Queller's 4 or less, right?
Yes.
So, like, Spell Queller could get rid of Gisela, and it could get rid of other Spell Quellers and, like, other dumb stuff. But Reflector Mage got rid of Avacyn and Eldrazi Titans and every other dumb thing under the sun.
Mhm.
So they figured the better nerf was probably Reflector Mage. And the fact is, a lot of people that would have just played white-green or mono-white humans were pulled into white-blue specifically because he existed.
Yeah, he's really good.
Because he was so good. And
I'll admit, I was planning on going Bant because of Reflector Mage.
I mean, that's just it.
I played Panharmonicon deck.
Now, I feel like this sets a dangerous precedent because while Black Green Delirium and Blue White Flash were prevalent in the format, they were far from unstoppable.
Yep.
Like, I think that a lot of the Pummeler decks and a lot of, like, the Black Red aggro decks, like, especially the Zombies build that was popular for a little bit, were just as consistent and faster, even.
They were faster. It was just the fact that the Reflector Mage was just really oppressive, according to WotC.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's seen like almost every deck that actually was doing well, it made it to where it just didn't feel comfortable in the format.
Yeah, I mean, you had to figure out a way to deal with Reflector Mage if you wanted to play a creature-based deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why Pummeler was popular, because Bristling Hydra gives itself hexproof
Yes.
on command.
Yes.
But,
But, what Wizards I don't know if you guys want me to read this or not, but anyways.
Can you give us the TLDR version?
Yeah. What's that?
Too long, didn't read.
Too long didn't read. No, this is just Wizards' explanation on the 3 cards. They said, Emrakul created to be scarily powerful. Emrakul. My phone. Okay, Emrakul, the promise, and delivered on that promise too well. Emrakul faced too little resistance and ended games too easily. She was the world-ending, all-powerful monster she was in the story, which was too much for Standard. That was the explanation for that.
Well, the thing with Emrakul is that you could... The idea with, like, this mid-rangey creature-based Standard we were kind of in is that every turn you would devote resources into building your board and protecting your board and keeping your board state intact. But all it took was resolving Emrakul, or specifically her cast trigger, to completely and totally undo the work you'd made over the entire game.
Yep.
Like, it could just be something as simple as holding your fumigate for when they play their guy.
Yep.
But essentially, because of the Mind Slaver effect, which is taking over another player's turn, I feel like Emrakul is probably the strongest version of this effect that's ever been printed, especially considering that she, unlike Worst Fears, which was the last card we had that did this thing, doesn't exile itself when it dies.
Right.
Which obviously they didn't want Emrakul to exile itself because they want you to be able to get it back somehow. Like the other Eldrazi Titans, in their first incarnation, shuffled back into your library so you can like do dumb reanimator stuff with them. But like here, because they tie them to cast triggers, you reanimate them, and yeah, you get the big dude, but you don't like get the face shredding power of their cast triggers.
Well, you did. It was the same with the original Titans.
Well, it makes me wonder why they stopped. Well, I mean, like original Emrakul, I get because duh, Annihilator 6 and protection from pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Mattered, and Ulamog was indestructible. Kozilek, I don't really get, but yeah.
But every one of them, well, at least in the Titans, they've had that cast trigger, including back in Rise of the Eldrazi.
Yeah.
So you didn't just reanimate Emrakul and get an extra turn. You had to actually cast Emrakul to get the extra turn.
Yeah, but there were back in those days we were allowed 1-mana 1/1s that gave you mana. So
yeah.
Wasn't Birds of Paradise legal in that format?
Yes, sir, it was.
Man, the things we thought were a good idea.
I played Abyssal Persecutor in that format.
Wow. Yeah, that was back before Cawblade went and ruined literally everything.
Yeah.
Just like everything's ruined again.
I had a really cool rock deck back then.
But the point to get
in
back
every format.
To get back to the point I was trying to make earlier, I feel like these new bannings, because they were based on power level and ubiquitousness rather than overall oppressiveness, I feel like this sets a bad precedent. Again,
Well, they openly stated that they banned them for diversity reasons.
yeah, which is
Like for go ahead.
oh well, I mean but again, that's what Yu-Gi-Oh does.
Yeah.
And I'm just deathly afraid of Magic turning into what Yu-Gi-Oh is, especially now that they have because they're starting to face a lot of the digital pressure now, because Hearthstone is absolutely destroying them in the digital market, and even the other online options, like whatever the Yu-Gi-Oh program's called, and like Pokemon the online TCG, is just absolutely crushing them in terms of overall UI and like bugs. Like how many? I just read on Reddit today that several popular cards are bugged, including Greater Gargadon, which he's playing Modern.
Yeah, and what's really funny is Greater Gargadon's bug is that you could just remove the counter for no reason. So you don't have to sacrifice a permanent or anything. You just suspend it, and then you get a 1-mana 9/7 with haste.
But yeah, for
way to go, Chris Cox.
their
He had nothing to do with that. I'll give him that.
Their explanation for Smuggler's Copter is pretty much because it was in too many decks. It said, simply put, Smuggler's Copter is too efficient and shows up in too many decks, diminishing the format's diversity. We want Planeswalkers, Sorcery Speed removal, and a variety of vehicles to be viable options, and believe removing Smuggler's Copter will allow them to flourish again.
So,
Of the top archetypes in Standard, very few didn't play 4 copies of Smuggler's Copter, stifling many creative fun options. Smuggler's Copter was the result of a new card type pushed too far, and as such is now banned.
So by diversity in vehicles, they mean instead of having the one vehicle, now we're just going to have a mix of two to four Ether Sphere Harvesters and Hearts of Kiran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Wizards.
Mhm.
You saved Standard. Everybody give it a gold star on the name chart.
See, the thing that also gets me about this is when they announced that they were going to do the twice-a-year rotation, they said that they wanted to do this so they could actually promote more aggressive cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, to promote having more powerful cards in the format. And because we went back to the once-a-year rotation, it took that away, basically.
But
So
it just feels like they're making a bunch of decisions that like are kind of like contradicting themselves. Because, for example, to give you an idea, they're like, we want to push limited and we want to push standard, which I get. But the thing is, why change? For example, why change GP Vegas to be limited with Amonkhet instead of Modern Masters, when the precedent is for GP Vegas to have whatever the Modern Masters series is, if it's on that year? Because I know there were a couple years where it didn't have it, but you know what I mean.
actually, those two Vegas were both Modern Masters.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, were there other? I thought there were other GP Vegases
No.
before that, or whatever.
Well, I mean, there probably
not sure.
was, but
but that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
the new ones, because they've set that precedent twice. I feel like, and it fits with the theme because you know Vegas is all glitz and glamour and
Yeah.
whatnot. And
So,
the
I
thing
mean-
is, they would make money. They're literally emptying out seats that would have been bought because people would wanted to play a Modern Masters GP.
Yeah.
Because there is no, like, it's not like they moved it to another place. There just is no Modern Masters GP this year.
yeah.
I mean, they
Which-
still got time to change it, if they do.
They've got, like, well, let's see. Assuming it depends because normally they do it right around when it comes out. Although GP Vegas this year was in June, but it would have it still would have been within the within plausibility to do
Yeah.
Modern Masters then.
Right.
Because it still would have probably been in print by then. But by doing it as Amonkhet, I just feel like they're pushing too hard where they need to back off, and they're not pushing hard enough where they need to like really
Right.
step on the pedal. I don't know. It creates this weird dichotomy, and it doesn't make any damn sense.
It might just be with the whole, like, yeah, they're a business, so they're probably trying to push revenue, like earnings and all that.
Right.
Which I mean, like, yeah, they'll still make the revenue and whatnot off of Modern Masters, but it might be a higher profit margin on the standard sets. That's why they're doing it. I'm not sure. I don't know their expenses. So.
Well, I mean,
I
like,
actually think it would probably be less of a profit margin.
but yeah, that's the thing because they're not going to sell as many seats because it's not Modern Masters. Like, who wants to go to Vegas and spend money on lodging and food to play in a limited GP that you could get at like 6 other places this year?
But you also gotta like count on the fact that they're doing masterpieces, which they increase the sales, and also all the side events, all the side event drafts, the infinite drafts.
But I don't think that's going to draw as many people as it would have drawn. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, people who go... Because masterpieces are designed to appeal to the casual crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they're your lottery tickets, and it's why a lot of standards been devalued as of late.
Yeah.
Heart of Kiran's at $11 at the highest card in Ether Revolt. To
Sold
put
mine
that,
for 14.
put that in perspective. But the thing is, those are designed to appeal to the casual players.
Yeah.
But let's get real for a minute. Casual players are not going to freaking GP Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you're going to a GP in Vegas and spending $100, like, you're in the long run for this. Like, I'm going to go ahead and assume you at least done some cursory research.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Like,
and that's the thing. Because it's not designed for a casual crowd. These are supposed to be competitive events.
Yep.
yeah.
Like,
Yep. These are not just competitive events.
and I get why the prices are so expensive in Vegas versus other places. Because Vegas floor space is expensive because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't help that Electronic Dance Carnival is that same weekend, which is the world's largest electronic music festival. I'm serious. Look it up.
Hollywood should be
That's-
there then. That's
wow.
awesome.
Yeah, EDC. Look it up. Anyway,
All right, I know I'm
so
going.
because
Devin,
they're,
let's go to Vegas.
because
Okay.
We're
they're
gonna go meet
also
Conley.
they are also there. They're like all the stuff, like all the hotel rates and everything else, are going to be boosted that weekend.
Yeah.
So it just makes it worse for everybody who's going there to play limited.
Oh man, I still remember looking at the skyline whenever I was in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know how like the contracts that Wizards makes with the businesses or companies that host the Grand Prix. Like all I know is that when I talk to, I want to say TJ Collectibles.
Yeah.
I think the owner is always there. I think I said something to him about like what it takes to do something like this, and he really just said like you just show Wizards you can run big events and whatnot like on your own, and also like I noticed when I was talking to him they have like these huge crates, they're on wheels that Wizards sends them, and I guess after the event is over they send it back.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know like what all their contract entails. Like there might be a reason why they chose standard sets because of something in the contract. I don't know.
Well, but the thing is, it's not. I don't think the TO decides what the format is. I think it's Wizards. And
Yeah,
then they, like,
that's what I'm
bid it
saying.
out- and then they like bid it out. So the decision to change from Modern Masters to Amonkhet was on Wizards' part, not the
Yeah.
organizers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe I don't know the numbers. I said maybe Wizards see something. I don't know. Like I said, just
I just
like
feel
in
like,
the end, it's just a business trying to make money.
I just feel like it's a risk with no reward. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like I think it should be, Modern Masters over standard sets.
Because it
But
doesn't cost them any more to print Modern
But I
Masters
also
than it
think-
does Amonkhet.
the reason why they're probably pushing the standard set is because they have a Modern and Legacy GP
Yeah.
as well there.
True.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, in my opinion. Because it was supposed to be 3 different constructed formats. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be standard, modern, and legacy.
But then,
But then the community said, we don't want standard, we want limited, and they gave them limited. So everybody just assumed that
And
it
it-
was going to be.
yeah,
Modern
and
Masters.
they totally monkeys pawed them for real. Like, this is absolutely like the genie, like not the one from Aladdin, like the one from every other story about genies you've ever read, where they wish for something and
I
they,
want $1 million. Actually got $1 million.
but then you find out it's stolen from a bank and the cops are right there.
Actually, I was thinking of deer.
Dear.
Yeah, $1 million.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see what I mean? Like, there's a million different ways to interpret everything, but they're like, we want a limited GP, and they're like, wish granted,
You got it, buddy.
and they just turn into
I'm a
Jack.
cat.
They turn into Jack Nicholson for half a second and just like give that like devilish grin that he has, and he's just like,
Got him.
got him.
But
Good luck getting your money back now. No refunds.
back to the last
Isn't that
card.
the truth.
The last card in the standard ban. I'm not reading it because all it said was they thought Reflector Mage was too powerful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, his was more like collateral damage of them making sure that another deck was not just going to be ridiculously oppressive because Copter and Emrakul left the format.
I think that they definitely undercosted him like a little bit because, in my opinion, I really think in testing he probably cost 2 blue-white.
No, well, I think the thing was in testing, he cost the same, but he was a 2/2.
Ah.
And they gave
I
him
knew
that
it too.
extra point of toughness without really, like, going through the steps and measures.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this tends to happen a lot. All the banned cards are stuff that isn't tested properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like a case of, hey, Wizards, how about you test things properly?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Like, you've been in the bit, like, I think you figured out a way to test things to make things fair, because not every standard format is full of broken nonsense.
Nope, still broken.
Yeah. They said it was too powerful, and they referenced Collected Company. That's saying
Yeah,
that
let's
was
reference Collected Company, a card that was ruining the format and then we didn't do anything about.
Yeah.
Thanks, Watsy. We appreciate it.
Good job, guys.
Collected Company ruining the format reminds me a lot of Delver. Because Delver didn't get a good answer printed until Dragon's Maze. And by then, it was already getting ready to leave the format. So it's just like, okay, thanks, Watsy. It's
It
just
did good.
it's just another Band-Aid on the stab wound situation.
You could have just played Moon Mist.
You could have. If you were a nerd.
They also put in the announcement that banned and restricted announcements will now be made both on The Monday after standard legal set pre-releases, and 5 weeks after a Pro Tour, also on a Monday.
Yeah, I bet Star City and Channel Fireball read that news and then just kind of like silently cheered, because they're gonna figure out what cards are gonna get banned, and then they're gonna have sales on those cards at like 10% off or whatever. Offload all of them, and then they get banned, and then voila, they just shipped off a ton of product.
Yeah. So, the modern bans. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, might as well.
Cataxian Probe, because they want to try to get away from turn 3 kills. That's really it.
And thus, Storm died even more than it already was.
And Golgari Grave Troll because of Dredge.
Because turn 3 kills.
Yeah. That's it.
Somewhere, Erin Campbell is silently weeping to herself.
So, Golgari Gravetroll I get because he wasn't on a permanent unbanned status like a lot of the slower stuff in Modern is now. He was being tested off the list because they wanted to see what would happen if they gave him a chance. And honestly, I feel like Gravetroll was probably not the biggest offender here. I feel like they should have gotten rid of Cathartic Reunion instead. Because that was what let you dump 3. Because the thing is, if you pulled that off turn 2 and dumped 2 Grave Trolls, like, you just got rolling.
I can
hard.
see that, yeah. He's probably an issue.
Well, think about it like this. In Magical Christmas Land scenario, you have 3 Grave Trolls in your graveyard. You play a Cathartic Reunion. You dredge 18.
Yeah.
Dog. That's legit. Like you
got like 2 Narcomoebas.
You get like 2 Narcomoebas and some prized amalgams, and then you probably have some what is it?
Blood gas.
Blood gas in your graveyard, and you play your fetch land, and you get those back, and it's just like you're just going to Pound Town, brother.
Yep.
But yeah, as far as Grave Troll, like obviously nerf back to Dredge. Hooray! Dredge is once again relegated to tier 2 along with the Merfolk. Yay.
Yeah.
As for Gitaxian Probe, this has more interesting applications because it affects a lot of the incredibly fast combo kill decks like Infect and Death Shadow, and also affects some fringier decks like I think Merfolk played a couple copies of it.
Yeah.
Storm played the full 4.
Yeah.
And then of course because it got banned, Storm's probably like tier 3 by now even.
Probably 3.5.
Like I'd probably play Merfolk or Jund or something over it at this point.
Well, Jund's still a tier 1 deck, basically. It's like tier 1.5.
Yeah, it keeps like going back and forth. Like it comes up for a little bit and then it goes back down.
Yeah.
Like Affinity goes between tier 1 and 3 at points, so
it just depends on how much hate's in the format.
Yeah, like when it's unpopular and it wins a format, that's when it's at its highest, and then as soon as like people start packing sideboard hate, it goes back down to tier 3 for a little bit. But Gitaxian Probe leaving the format means that Infect can no longer pull off a turn 2 kill without its other 1-mana Phyrexian mana spell. And Death Shadow, I don't even know if Death Shadow works at all anymore.
I'd probably say it's not viable.
Yeah, I would say that it's not.
Yeah, like that deck just absolutely crumples without Gitaxian Probes. It sucks too because that deck was
sweet.
That deck was interesting, and I do feel bad that a lot of people spent time in it building it and whatnot. But you know, that's the way these things are.
Yeah, comes with the game.
Yep.
But you know, so I'm interested to see what's going to happen to Modern now because of the top 4, like Burn isn't really hurt by losing either of those cards, and neither is the neither is Affinity really.
No. If anything, Affinity gets stronger because of this.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see where Affinity goes. I'm wondering how Delver's gonna do now.
Delver's still gonna be like tier 2.5.
Yeah.
Bant Eldrazi.
Bant Eldrazi will be a tier 1.
Yeah.
The deck's so good.
Yeah.
Even without Ayavugan, the deck's still ridiculous.
But them's the breaks.
Yup. Alright, so we got cool deck to talk about.
We have a deck tech to round out the show with, and today we are talking about Saheeli 4-color Copycat.
Alright, so
tell us a little bit about the deck, Jaren, because I have no idea how this thing works.
Alright, so are you familiar with Splinter Twin?
Well, I know. Okay, so I'm talking about the non-combo parts of the deck, because obviously the core of the deck is for Saheeli, for Felidar Guardian to essentially infinitely blink Saheeli and make infinite cats to run, ruffle, stomp your opponent with. Like, that much is obvious. I'm more interested to see what the rest of the deck does.
Well, basically the rest of the deck is just a value deck. It searches for other ways to prolong the game, to actually be able to combo off, and also find ways to basically play not to die.
I was curious about this, because I was looking through the list, and I'm like, okay, this seems alright. But the deck has a particularly high focus on producing energy with cards like Rogue Refiner.
Yes.
But the only card that actually spends it is Harness Lightning, which is obviously is fine, and the single copy of Whirler Virtuoso.
There is another card, too.
Well, Servant of the Conduit.
And another card.
Ether Hub?
And another card. Shielded Ether Thief.
What is... I forget what that card even does.
It's 1 and a blue for an 0/4 with Flash. When it blocks, you gain an energy, or you can also tap it to pay 3 energy to draw a card.
Okay, I see now.
Right off the top of my head, never actually seen that card.
I guess. It just feels kind of odd.
It does feel odd, but it also goes with what the deck wants to do.
Works for me.
Yeah, so that seems fine to me. Now, the card that actually catches me off guard on this is actually Cloud Blazer. Because 5 mana, but it does gain you 2 life and draw 2 cards. It still seems like a little late for me.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, if you hit a turn 2 Servant, like, that matters a lot. Especially since Servant doesn't make a green mana, it makes an any color of mana, which means hitting the off color isn't nearly as difficult.
Yeah, exactly. But it still seems a little weird to me that it plays a 5-drop 2/2. I mean, it does give you a bit of value, but it's still, I don't know.
Well, I mean, drawing cards is important because I feel like this is a deck where you would run out of gas really quickly if you don't draw the combo outright, which is why, like, the Shielded Ether Thief is an interesting choice. Because the deck doesn't have a lot of draw stuff.
No.
Like, there are no glimmers in here, which is kind of an interesting
There's
choice.
also no anticipates.
No anticipates. So, the deck needs a way to draw cards, I think. 'Cause this is a deck that looks like it runs out of gas fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just going through, we had already mentioned a lot of the cards in it, but there's one that we didn't mention thus far, and that is Spell Queller.
Well, I mean, I feel like Spell Queller is just an obvious pick here because
it is a mainly blue-white deck.
Yeah, you're mainly playing blue-white with just splashes of...
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Green and red.
I'm sorry.
Just splashes of green and red for the for the energy component and the combo piece. But
Mana ramp.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I get the Spellcrawler thing because obviously it stops it stops the mirror.
That it does.
Stops a lot of the burn and stuff that would otherwise disrupt your combo.
But yeah, I mean, Spellqueller is really good in this deck. I don't really know what Whirler Virtuoso. Oh, that guy. He's pretty cool.
He's the one that farts out Thopters.
Yeah, for 3 energy. That's pretty cool. I mean, other than that, the list just seems really straightforward.
Yeah, you're just like you play a kind of like control heavy game where you draw lots of cards, and then when the coast is clear, you just cast Copycat combo and kill them.
Okay, so the problem cards here for basically any deck, obviously you have to watch for Saheeli and the Felidar Guardian. Because if something happens where you see both of those, you're probably dead. Just flat out, you're probably dead.
Well, remember this. There is a weak spot in the combo's armor that Splinter Twin didn't exactly have to deal with, and that's it. That it has to be cast at sorcery speed entirely.
Right.
Now they can do it across 2 turns, but obviously if they're trying this stuff, then you know it's coming.
Yeah.
And you have time to deal with it with sorcery speed removal. But if they try to do it both at once, there is one moment where you can essentially break the combo apart, and that's when if they're both on the battlefield, and Saheeli uses her neg 2.
Yeah.
Now, because the loyalty ability is a cost, it's paid immediately
Yeah.
before you get a chance to respawn. So she comes in with 3 loyalty, so she neg-2s,
Yeah,
and she's
goes
at
to
1
1.
loyalty. At that moment, you can either destroy Saheeli with a burn spell, or the other moment is when, as soon as Felidar Guardian enters the battlefield, this only works on the first one, mind you.
Yeah.
If they get a copy out, it's over. But when the first one enters the battlefield, targeting Saheeli, you have to destroy it with something, or exile it. It doesn't get it off the battlefield however you can, and that breaks the combo.
Now, yeah, I mean, you can also, when she -2s, you can actually let the ability go on to stack to blink her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, am I thinking about? No, I'm not thinking about this right. Whenever she -2s, like you said, you could shoot the Felidar Guardian, and then her ability just fizzles.
Are you sure? Because doesn't it already have a target by that point?
It says create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature you control.
Okay, so I guess it would fit.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because I was going to say that, but I'm like, well, wait a sec. Wouldn't it already have a target by then?
I actually did that this evening.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously those 2 cards, because if you see those, you're probably, you know.
But watch your triggers.
Yeah.
And don't let your opponent
learn the stack.
learn the stack.
Slow down.
Learn to hold priority.
Yes.
Don't let your opponent rush things, or they will kill you.
I do it all the time. But I think the other problem card here is obviously Spell Queller, because that card is always going to be an issue no matter when you see it.
I'm surprised this deck doesn't play more hard control spells. Like, I'm surprised to see no disallows, no metallic rebukes.
I think the reason why we're not seeing disallow is because it's double blue.
Well, okay, so I can accept that, but what about no rebellious? The one in a blue that's a mana leak for non-artifacts.
Metallurgy, well, whatever it's called.
Revolutionary rebuff is what
Okay,
I'm
that.
talking about.
Oh yeah, I think it's because that thing costs 2 mana. Well, it's like a 2 mana leak, you know.
Yeah, but how? I mean, like, the thing is, I guess I could see that because late game they're probably going to have the mana to bust through it. But if you have 2 in hand, which you probably are going to need at least 2 counter spells to get your combo to go off.
Right.
I feel like 4 mana for 2 rebuff is not that steep a price.
Oh, and
especially when you have 2 spell quellers that cost 6.
I also feel I need to input this real quick. For those that are actually wondering what list we're talking about, this is actually the SCG Open that was in Columbus. They took 5th place. There's no name for this, but on MTG Goldfish, they're calling it 4-color Saheeli. And right below it says, suggest a better name. Guys, it needs to be 4-color Copycat.
I'm just glad they're not calling it some weird thing like Dark Jeskai. I hated that.
Dark, no, actually it'd be
Jeskai Black.
Hippie,
Jeskai Green.
I would call it Hippie Jeskai.
Hippie Sky.
Hippie. Oh god. I'm not calling it that.
All right, so now that we know what the problem cards are, so Saheeli, the cat, Spell Queller, what do we do to actually beat them?
Well, first, if we want to beat them, we call it Moist Naya.
I'm going home.
Okay. Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
Kill the cat.
You kill the cat.
You play Authority of the Consoles and then laugh at them.
That's also good. Now, what if we're playing something that can't run Authority of the Consoles?
Kill the cat.
Fatal Push still works.
Fatal Push, in my testing, has not worked very well.
Well, that's because you haven't tried hard enough.
Let's go ahead and think about this for a second. I draw either no lands or all my land. It's
I
kinda
never think
terrible.
about anything in anything I do.
Kill Saheeli. Play
Killing
Shock.
Saheeli is good. Play Shocks, yes.
Like Anguish
Hardest
Unmaking.
Lightnings.
Anguish Unmaking is great.
Um,
I think Stasis Snare might be okay.
Yes.
Stasis Snare is fine. Like any of the stuff that we've talked, instant speed removal, like in terms of like For example, Felidar Guardian gets under Sky Whaler shot, which is sad. It does not escape Spell Snare, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of removal in other colors. Like, really, I guess
Grasp
you
of
could.
Darkness.
Let me think. Can Unsubstantiate doesn't work?
Unsubstantiate could actually work temporarily.
Yeah, but it's another, like, why not just play a removal spell and just get rid of the problem forever?
Because, in my opinion, it's actually it seems like it'd be a viable option because it does buy you a turn, depending on what turn it is.
Well, you know what I think the viable option is? Why are we not talking about the secret tech that is black-blue control with secret salvage and Hedron alignment? That's the deck we need to be
No.
talking about.
I told you that Secret Salvage was gonna be sick.
You know what? I was wrong. I'm sorry. I am sorry, loyal viewers. I did not realize the interaction with a bulk rare from Oath of the Gatewatch, a set that nobody opened.
I did it. I found it.
Actually, I found it technically.
I found the good card out of it.
Well, you found
black card.
you found the secret salvage
Yes.
was good, but I found the way it was good.
So
Like-
together,
Together, we did it.
we found a deck.
We did it, Reddit.
Nothing like high-fiving yourself.
Woo!
All right, so now that we have an idea of how to actually beat this,
Lost Legacy.
that's a good one. That is a really good card.
Yeah,
Transgress.
Lost Legacy just rips this deck apart.
Transgress is ridiculous against this deck.
Transgress is good.
What's the other card? The
Harsh Scrutiny is all right.
Harsh Scrutiny's okay.
I said all right.
the mind one.
Hmm?
Pick the brain. If you get lucky, it's in your hand. And if you run a delirium.
Doesn't Pick the Brain only target a sorcery?
No, I thought it was. Hold on.
I got this.
We got Googles.
I got a Pixel.
No.
Target opponent reveals his or her hand, and you choose a non-land card from it and exile it. If there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, search your opponent's search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that exiled card. Exile those cards, and then they shuffle their library. So it is any card.
Okay, I might have been thinking. What's that blue card that shows somebody literally picking a brain? Like, do you guys remember what card I'm talking about? It had that really art where it looks like she's gonna like eat the brain out of the guy's head.
Nope.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Rise from the Tides.
No, not that. It was like, because I remember that card mentioned sorcery specifically. I don't know. I'll find it, but yeah, Pick the Brain is fine. Although you do have to have Delirium for it to actually do what you want it to.
Right.
So, if you're in Black-Green Delirium, fine. Otherwise, keep looking, I guess. Sucks that there's no good like, blue doesn't really have any good options on its own, and neither does green for that matter. Green just has to kind of smash them before they get their stuff set up.
Bristling Hydra.
Walking Ballista.
That's a good card. That's a really good card.
Walking
actually.
Ballista, you have to like try and
Who
have
cares?
enough counters for.
Who cares? It's
It
fine.
gets itself counters.
Yeah, for 4 mana apiece.
And? you just need one to kill Saheeli.
I actually would like to play a Walking Ballista in Black-White Control, potentially.
Dude, that's like... I think that card should be in like every deck.
Yeah.
I mean, it does give me a lot of Hangerback Walker memories.
Yep.
Although I am of the opinion that I still think Hangerback Walker is better.
Oh, yeah.
Hangerback Walker is better, but we can only work with what we've got.
Yeah.
This is why I don't talk decks with my friends, because they like to try to get me to play modern legal cards in my standard decks.
Dude.
Because I'm sitting there and I'm trying to compare notes, and I'm like, here, take a look at this deck list for Black-White Control, right? And I have Sorin Grim Nemesis, and they're like, why don't you just play the good Sorin, like Sorin Solemn Visitor? And I disconnect from Discord and tell them to go to hell.
Goodbye.
But I definitely feel better now that we actually talked about this deck, about this matchup.
Woo!
Yeah. Everybody else fine?
I mean, I'm good.
Well, I think you were good anyway. You didn't even care about the deck.
Well, I mean, like,
I'm always good.
you know, I'm probably gonna be. If we keep talking about standard the next couple weeks, I'm probably gonna be playing devil's advocate for a lot of it.
I hope you do.
Just saying a lot of, well, what about this reason that standard sucks? Let me pull up my list.
Which is fine. You do that.
You just
It's
made
just-
the list.
It's just like my dirty limericks that I was reciting whenever I was my bard. But all right, so wind it down. Are there any announcements that anybody has?
We're not. There's no big event this weekend, and
No? Well-
next weekend's the regional in Columbus,
Yeah.
and then the weekend
Is
after
that the first week in November?
Yep. Well, in February, yeah.
Or, wow.
You're only about 10 months ahead.
Wow.
Is it time for Thanksgiving again?
Oh my
already?
God, we're gonna have our Thanksgiving special early this year, guys.
Anyways, I was thinking, I have a GPT next week.
When?
I think Friday? I think the 4th.
Friday.
Well, I mean, you should do all your big events in February since nobody's going to come to F&M.
Now, if I have to work again on Friday,
No, you're not working.
Here's what you do. We're going to dress up Nathan and like glue red hair to his head because he's already got the beard. This will work. You guys totally look alike other than the fact that he has brown hair. And then we'll just say, and then when they ask where Nathan is, we'll just tell them that he
He quit.
quit.
He said, "Hell with this place. I'm out. I'm done."
We're gonna do a George Weasley on this where we just replace you.
Ah, yes.
Sorry, it's a Saturday. It's February 4th.
That's not a good idea because everyone's gonna be at the regional.
Yeah. Do I really want to go to the regional?
I just canceled. I don't know.
I'd get to play Infect with Smugglers.
If I were you, I would either reschedule it for Friday
can.
or reschedule it for the next Friday.
If I can, I will.
Although, can you schedule? Well, I guess you can't schedule
So-
it for this Friday.
So, did I told you guys about how I'm trying the Smugglers Copter and Infect, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, I didn't mention this during the standard banning section, but if you want those cards, go buy them now because they're gonna be This is as low as they're getting. They're gonna go up after this, except maybe Reflector Mage. But you shouldn't invest in that card anyway.
If
Oops.
you want to invest in Reflector Mage, buy one copy for EDH.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's all I would say.
Yeah.
And even that seems fringy.
I like it.
I mean, you
I've
play.
got a Russian
Well,
one.
I mean, you play Brago though, so that's different.
Yeah.
Like
And it's not Brago stacks either. It's just Brago value train.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like any deck that gets like Rune players also wouldn't mind it because that's also blink.
But I'm trying Smuggler's Copter and Infect, and so far it's been just so much fun to play it. And then when people look at me puzzled on why I'm actually playing it, I always refer to them that if it's too good for standard, then it must be okay in modern. So give it a go.
Well, see, doesn't Reflector Mage see Fringe play somewhere in some goofy tier 3 modern deck? Because Emrakul's not going to see any play because we have
You just
good.
got the message.
The thing is, like Jaron was saying earlier about having standard decks and then getting suggested modern legal cards.
Yeah.
Well, in modern, we have Emrakul that just got banned, or we have the good Emrakul that
Yeah.
actually just lets you have another turn of doing your own degenerate things.
We should just play both of them.
So, by your argument,
Could you
what's a
imagine
good version of
staring down two
Copter?
Emrakuls
What?
and how what?
I said, by that argument, what's your good version of Copter?
What's the bad?
Or an
version of
Ornithopter
Copter?
with cranial plating.
Well, I thought.
Touche.
He's not wrong, though. But could you imagine staring down not one, but two Emrakuls?
Oh man, I get scared whenever I'm staring down one, and I have removal for it.
You'd have to. Like, at that point, you better just start praying to whatever god you believe in.
Well, that's out.
Jiffed peanut butter, please save me from this nightmare.
Help me, Jewish God!
Reminds me of the old bit from Futurama. Satan, you owe me. It's like Professor Farnsworth is melting or something.
Help me, Oprah Winfrey!
All right. So, do we have any shout-outs?
I want to shout out Devin because he let me judge tonight. Yay!
I have moral obligations about a judge with no soul.
Well, that makes it perfect. I make the perfect judge because if I don't have a soul, then I don't deal with anybody.
But you have a Kia soul, so it kind of counts.
Okay,
You
that's
let-
fair.
You exist in this weird, like, legal gray area, like downloading copies of movies you own.
You wouldn't download a pizza.
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, for real. Like, I would totally download a car and then print it out on my 3D printer one piece
Yep.
at a time. You have, like, 20 pieces of the hood you have to, like, solder together or whatever.
Are you kidding? You would just use dabs of Gorilla Glue.
You mean dabs of Harambe glue?
Yep, that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's been fun, but now we must bid you adieu.
Did you delete it?
No.
Share and subscribe.
And then Dakota can delete it.
Give us that sweet social media exposure. Or you could just send us actual money, because believe it or not, exposure does not pay rent.
I saw a comic about that once.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just once, though.
Looks like it didn't get very much exposure.
Not at all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Should have kept it going.
We'll see you next time on Casually Spike. But until then, we are out.